You know, history isn't always shaped by the clash of swords or the rise and fall of massive empires. Actually, its most profound shifts are often quiet revolutions, orchestrated entirely by the simple stroke of a pen. The right words at exactly the right time can completely change the way entire civilizations think. They can topple long-held assumptions about truth, justice, and morality. So today, we're focusing on 20 names, the most influential writers in history. And I want to be clear, these aren't just talented storytellers. We are looking at monumental historical figures who took their unique perspectives, totally pushed the boundaries of their eras, and provoked humanity to reimagine its place in the universe. We're going to break this incredible evolution down into 5 key eras: foundations of Western literature, pioneers of the novel, philosophers of the soul, the modernist revolution, and finally, redefining reality and society. Okay, let's dive into this, because tracing this journey reveals a truly staggering historical scale. We are covering thousands of years of human thought here, from the 8th century BC all the way through to the 20th century. It really emphasizes just how enduring the power of the written word truly is. I mean, think about it. A story forged in ancient Greece can still fundamentally shape the architecture of the modern mind today. It's amazing. Let's start things off with Section 1, Foundations of Western Literature. Our journey has to begin in antiquity with the absolute architect of the epic, Homer. This reputedly blind Greek poet literally laid the cornerstones of Western storytelling with the Iliad and the Odyssey. He interweaved these massive, grand themes of heroism, fate, and the gods' world and human fortunes. And then, centuries later, we get the towering Roman figure Virgil. He essentially took those ancient Greek epic traditions, blended them with profound Roman values, and created the Aeneid. But in doing so, Virgil didn't just tell a good story. He philosophically shaped the identity and the very mythology of an entire empire. All right, fast forward a bit to the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, and you'll see the focus deeply shifting toward the human soul. Dante Alighieri gave us the Divine Comedy, which is this monumental allegorical journey through hell, purgatory, and paradise. This masterpiece was so culturally dominant that it actually helped standardize the Italian language itself and heavily influenced Renaissance humanism. Then, of course, there is the Bard, William Shakespeare. He remains arguably the most influential playwright in human history. He essentially sculpted modern storytelling by exploring our deepest nature through these intensely complex characters. Finally, we have the German polymath Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He contributed significantly to the Weimar Classicism movement, using iconic works like Faust to delve into the really complex interplay between human individualism and the natural world. Moving right along to Section 2, Pioneers of the Novel. So, for centuries, literature was completely dominated by these flawless, untouchable epic heroes. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why Miguel de Cervantes was such a huge deal. With Don Quixote, which is very often cited as the first true modern novel, Cervantes introduced some groundbreaking narrative techniques. The big one? The unreliable narrator. This completely changed the game. He proved that protagonists could be deeply flawed, totally delusional, and wonderfully, tragically human. It's a shift that influenced narrative structure and character development for centuries to come. Now, as the novel evolved, it actually transformed into an incredibly powerful tool for irony and social critique. Jane Austen totally mastered clever romantic dialogue and really sharp social commentary in works like Pride and Prejudice. Her character-driven narratives were so advanced that her influence still extends deeply into modern feminist literature today. On the flip side, you have Charles Dickens. He used works like Oliver Twist and A Tale of Two Cities to ruthlessly expose the darkest, most impoverished corners of Victorian England. He literally forced society to look at its most vulnerable members, sparking real-world conversations about poverty and systemic injustice. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Mark Twain emerged as this towering pioneer of American literary realism. He was known for his vernacular writing and his piercing satirical wit in works like The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. But Twain wasn't just writing regional adventure stories. He embedded sharp, unflinching social critiques that directly challenged racism, classism, and hypocrisy. And by doing that, he elevated his voice to a central role in shaping the very fabric of American cultural identity. That brings us to Section 3, Philosophers of the Soul. This search for morality absolutely reached its zenith with the Russian titans Leo Tolstoy and Fyodor Dostoevsky. Tolstoy wrote monumental epics like War and Peace, sure, but he was also a profound moral philosopher. His countercultural writings on nonviolence were so powerful, they later inspired global figures like Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. to secure actual civil reforms. Meanwhile, Dostoevsky went in a different direction, plunging into the absolute darkest corners of the human psyche. In works like Crime and Punishment, he explored the agonizing interplay between societal morality, religious faith, and deep existential despair. This deep dive into the human condition also started taking on the heavy weight of existential dread. Herman Melville explored themes of profound obsession and the unforgiving power of nature in Moby Dick. It's funny, that masterpiece was totally underappreciated in its time, but later recognized for its immense philosophical depth. And this relentless search for meaning directly connects to Albert Camus. Through The Stranger, Camus challenged the modern world with early absurdism. He shaped contemporary conversations around humanism, rebellion, and humanity's really desperate search for purpose within a completely indifferent, chaotic universe. Next up, Section 4, the Modernist Revolution. To really understand the modernists, you have to understand a revolutionary technique, stream of consciousness. Instead of a narrator just standing back and telling you what a character is doing, this experimental style drags you directly inside their raw, unfiltered internal thought process. It is an incredibly intimate, sometimes chaotic way to explore identity, memory, and the inescapable forward march of time. So the crucial point is how these champions of modernism used this tool. Irish writer James Joyce completely revolutionized how we experience a character's mind in Ulysses. He used this stream of consciousness style to elevate the seemingly mundane, everyday aspects of life to literal cosmic significance. And right alongside him was Virginia Woolf, an absolute titan of evocative prose. She used this exact same innovative technique to pioneer modernist feminist literary criticism. In works like Mrs. Dalloway, she beautifully and often tragically explored the societal impact of gender roles and the heavy weight of passing time. And finally, Section 5, Redefining Reality and Society. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the term Kafkaesque. You've probably heard it. It originates directly from Franz Kafka, a German-speaking bohemian writer who used these totally absurd scenarios, like famously a man waking up to find he's transformed into a giant insect in The Metamorphosis, to expound upon themes of severe alienation and bizarre bureaucratic ineptitude. His explorations of existential anxiety were so chillingly precise that his very name literally became a lasting adjective to describe any situation that is oppressively and illogically bureaucratic. At the same time, George Orwell was casting a stark, undeniable light on society's darkest potentials. With 1984 and Animal Farm, Orwell provided a chilling, enduring warning about totalitarianism, propaganda, and unchecked state power. He was an impartial observer of political extremes, and his visions of political control and mass surveillance actively shape our global, everyday conversations on privacy and censorship to this very day. Well, this brings us to one of my absolute favorite literary concepts, magical realism. It's a style where the totally impossible is treated as absolutely perfectly ordinary. Imagine a woman of ethereal beauty just floating away into the sky while doing the laundry, or someone who is constantly trailed by a flock of yellow butterflies. These aren't winking metaphors in the story, they are presented as literal, everyday facts of life. The champions of blending this kind of myth and reality are some of our greatest contemporary giants. Nobel laureate Gabriel Garcia Marquez was a central figure in creating magical realism, single-handedly elevating Latin American literature to global prominence. Then you have the Japanese novelist Haruki Murakami, who expertly weaves Western literary influences with deep Japanese tradition, using surrealist prose to explore loneliness and metaphysical mysteries. And of course, the incredible Toni Morrison, the first African-American to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. She masterfully blended folklore and stunning lyrical prose to shape the entire conversation surrounding Black identity, trauma, and community in a deeply profound exploration of history. Looking at this list, these 20 names stand as a testament to a singular, undeniable truth. Words change the world. They topple our assumptions, and they build entirely new frameworks for human understanding. So I want to ask you, which of these literary revolutionaries shapes your worldview today? Think about the books sitting on your shelf right now, the stories you consume, and even the language you use every day. Chances are, one of these monumental minds helped put it there. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.